Hey folks, welcome to this look at one of the new features in Worldographer 2025. I'm Joe Wetzel, the creator of the program, and right now we are doing a backer kit crowdfunding campaign to support all of the new features that we've put together, as well as some back-end changes and some UI improvements to Worldographer that's going to come out later this year as part of this Worldographer 2025 release. Right now, this crowdfunding goes through October 8th, 2024, and a couple weeks later we'll have the release out. But right now on that crowdfunding page, which we'll link below, you can go ahead and download a demo, which is fully enabled to try out all the features and see if the tool is a good fit for your needs. And if it is, then we'd love for you to come back to the crowdfunding page and support it. So at its most basic, just placing terrain. Let me turn off a couple of options here. But at its most basic, to add terrain to a map, you can go up to File, New World Kingdom to create the map, and you get a dialog like this, and you can just accept the defaults and click Generate Map. But you just go to the Terrain drawer or Terrain tab over here on the side, and once that's selected, you'll see a window like this, an area like this, and you can pick the type that you want. So say if we want to have some more evergreen forest, then you click on the map where you want it to go, and those hexes change to that evergreen forest. You can also have a flood fill so that it will change all of the adjacent terrain that matches, as well as any adjacent terrain to that, and on and on. You can also do a wide area, which is, these two are exclusive options of each other. This will just change the terrain and any adjacent terrain, no matter what type it is. So this will affect the 6 adjacent hexes as well. And with that, you can drag as well to change a bunch of terrain all at once. But what you would notice, especially if we do a large area, it gets kind of boring having it all be the same terrain. So there's another option up here on the options menu, add randomness to it, and this is just going to get some other terrain types, maybe some heavy evergreen forest and some mixed forest and some evergreen hills, and it will fill that in for us as well. So as I drag that around, you can see it. So just add some variety. And that will happen for fills as well. So if I pick this mountain area here, you can see we got a couple of those other icon types. And even if we're doing map levels where we've got our world map and then we expand it to a continent level map that's got 6 hexes across per hex in the parent, or 5, or whatever number you want, when it creates that child map, it will add in that variety as well. So that's all there. One other thing that we want to show with placing terrain, we need to have a different map style, and this is our isometric map style, which you can just go to World Kingdom, New World Kingdom map, and then you change it to isometric here, and generate map, and you'll get a map in this style. And this style map does, lend itself to a little more detail. So we have a number of variations of the terrain types. So we've got sandy desert, and we've got 5 of them, A, B, C, D, E. And if you place if we pick sandy desert A, and we pick wide area, for example, well, with randomness on, it gets a little bit nicer, but if we turn off randomness as well, we're going to have all that same terrain gets chosen. So it'd be nice to have a way for it to randomly pick or sandy terrain B or C or D, depending, just to add some variety. So if I go back over that, you're going to see that it did in fact add in some of those other terrain types, those other sandy deserts as well. And that applies to fills as well. So if I fill in this area as well as and and the multiple map levels too, and then I can turn on this add randomness too. And in this case, we can do the fill of this area. And you're going to see this one here, if I scroll over a little bit more, it did change and give us a rocky desert in there. So it does the same thing that we had shown before. Now, the new thing in Worldographer 2025 is that you can put your terrain on other map layers. So if you go to the Layers tab over here, you can see you've got a number of layers. And by default, your terrain goes on either terrain land or on terrain water, depending on if it's got water in the name. And we have here a drop down though that if you choose, you can set it to something else. So we can kind of create an underground realm, if you will, by putting it on below all. Now we're not going to see these changes, and I've got, let's do wide area, and we'll use similar and all, actually no, actually I just want to do a smaller area at a time. So I'm going to pick that, but we'll leave similar on and so forth, and see what we got. So we're not getting any changes because it's going on that layer that's up above. If I do turn off terrain land, there you go. That's the terrain that we had added. The water is still showing because, of course, we have terrain water on. And then what I can do is I can also, though, so this just lets us map out, if I go back to terrain, yeah, so this lets us map out an inner world or an underdark world, whatever you might want. You can place all that terrain there. And then if we go back to the layers and turn back on terrain land, you don't see it. However, we can also, if we choose, we could go back to the show all terrain here. So we see all the options, and I can do border only. And I can do this on the main terrain land layer to replace those. And this is going to let us see. So I'm just actually erasing, you can see it there. So it's erasing the terrain on the main layer by putting in a terrain type that is uh, uh, blank, essentially. There is a blank type that's a little bit different, but border only is only drawing a border. It's not drawing any background unless we choose to change the default settings. So, and then I can go back, like I said, just to show that again. You can turn off that terrain land, and you can see that other stuff underneath. So that's new in Worldographer 2025, where had a bunch of people that were really excited about that. You can put it above the terrain as well. So if you have some reasons to have, or something, if you have some reason that you can think of that you want to have a layer above, maybe you've got floating cities for floating, islands, if you will, you can do that as well. So that's all in Worldographer 2025. Again, most of the video, half the video was talking about the existing stuff that's in Worldographer, but the putting terrain on other map levels is part of Worldographer 2025. Like I said, please do check out the demo. You can get to the demo by going to the crowdfunding page, which we'll have linked below the comments here. And I hope you're excited about the tool as I am. It's been quite a bit of work, but quite a few additional cool features that we're adding in. This is day 5 of us doing daily videos throughout the campaign. Hopefully I can keep it up. If I didn't mention it already, the crowdfunding campaign ends on October 8th, and then a couple weeks later we'll have the actual release of the software, but you're free to keep using the demo version until that expires towards the end of October there. So I hope that, as always, I hope that the tool lets you make some really cool, great maps. Thanks a bunch.